Hi everyone, it's Sloth, and today we are going for the roots, Dimir Control. I wanted to have a standard deck that feels like your typical control with Dimir colors. So, what can you incorporate to have a strong deck? Hi, I'm Invoke Despair, and I'm a very good card. So basically the whole deck is built around Invoke Despair, but there is a second engine for this deck. Because this is more of a late game plan, right? You need 5 mana, you need 4 black. So this is why we have Soaring Thought-Thief, I know, a bit unique, and Kaito Shizuki. This is a mini combo that is a setup for your full strategy for this deck. So basically we want to cast it at the end step because it's very hard for enemy to react and nobody expects it. And when you do it at the end step, you can attack and then you just cast Kaito out of nowhere and suddenly you have board with Planewalker. It's very hard to kill Soaring Thought-Thief because of 3 toughness, and also it's very good at blocking and so on because it has flying. So moment you start drawing cards every single turn, and believe me, it feels much better when you cast Kaito and already start drawing cards instead of making Ninja and hoping you can start from the next turn. So this is really strong engine, and the rest of the deck is pretty much control that makes you protect this small combo. And if you can do it successfully, protect Kaito, protect one creature, you will overwhelm enemy just by sheer amount of cards that you draw every turn. 2 cards a turn is no joke, especially for like what, 5 mana total. And yeah, this is why we have Saw It Coming, Negate, Test of Talent. We have 1 Syncopate and 1 Devious Cover-Up. Cover-Up in case of matchup that you really want your old cards that you have already used, because there are some one-offs like Go Blank. We have like Kotose, things like this. So it's more of a specialized card in case you want to outsmart enemy in the longer game. But yeah, situational as always. Syncopate, I wasn't extremely happy with this, and maybe you can remove it. Maybe you can just put a removal. Probably it will be more useful, but it depends how you draw it. If you draw it after you play Kaito Thought-Thief and you can untap, obviously it's amazing. So, as always, counter spells, you want to draw them at the right time. Inventive Iteration, card that is quite rarely used. I think it is very strong. The only problem is you need to find one single turn when casting 4 mana bounce spell is good enough. It doesn't need to be great, it just needs to be okay. And when you can set up this card in such a way, in fact you get replaced it at the next turn because you draw a card, we don't have artifacts. But when you get this 3/3 flyer that can block enemy turn, man, this is one card that, by the way, after you bounce something, changes your whole game plan. Like, this single creature can block entire decks. Like, imagine enchantments. You cast something for 2. They cannot cast any rune for their full turn. If you keep casting 2 drops, like for something for 2 mana every turn for 5 turns, they cannot play the deck. If you cast something for 3 like Kaito or Go Blank, then they cannot cast Runeforge Master or Champion, whatever it's called. Like, this card can be extremely strong if you play it at the right time. Okay, what more? We of course have removal. I made some Eyetwitches. I don't play 4 because they aren't like the most important part of the deck thanks to the Soaring Thought-Thief. But I have found that in case you don't draw other things, they just help a bit. Like, lessons are so universal and flexible that I actually really like decks that have lessons. So this is the reason. And yeah, March of the Wretched Sorrow as always is a great card. And I have 1 Duress because I like seeing what's up. Especially it's 1 mana and you will hit most of the time in most of the decks something. So it just helps. It just helps, especially when you need to have counterspell up. It really helps to know what exactly you need to counter. So I was happy with the result, and I think I didn't whiff in all of the games. So, of course, for Meathook Massacre, because as always. One of the things that you really need to be careful with this deck, you need to play a lot of black lands. If you play this on blue too many times, you can block yourself out of the win, because we need 4 black, and remember that this is mostly a black deck with some, let's say, maybe not blue splash, but blue is a bit secondary. You set blue after you have your black part of the deck, and that's the most important. Invoke Despair is crucial part of this strategy. If you cannot cast it, you probably shouldn't win, or like, you know, you are doing what you can to not win the game if you play the lands wrong. So basically acquiring the right lands is very good. We have quite a lot of tap lands, Hole, Double Hive, and also Backwater. I have played with more of them, but I just found that we get tapped way too much, so I reduced it to 2, and I didn't have extreme problems with mana, but there might be games that you just draw like 3 islands and that's a problem. But it happens rarely, so I don't think that's a huge issue. So that is the deck. I wanted to feel like typical Dimir Control player, and I think this deck plays like it. So if you like this style, it's worth trying. It's not super competitive, but at the same time I believe we won like 55, something like this % of the games. I think we went above 50%. So it's pretty decent and pretty fun. So yeah, try it out. And if you like this kind of decks, just subscribe as always. And really thank you for watching, and enjoy the games. Okay, so not really great hand. We have the wrong lands, we don't have Kaito, and we don't have creatures, so let's mulligan. Okay, this is way better. This is actually so much better that I'm not sure what to get rid of. We definitely need 3 lands. We need this Kaito combo. So it's either Syncopate or Meathook. I think it's Syncopate. We also got perfect land draw. So basically the idea is that you use this guy and Kaito. So enemy cannot really prevent your drawing of the cards. And usually you want Meathook exactly for this matchup. Okay. So we can block and prevent all the damage, which is pretty nice. And the training won't really go off in this situation at all. And we can start drawing cards, because we need as many lands as possible, so we can win the game with Meathooks. Okay, and we got one. And with Invoke Despair, if we can clean up most of the board, we should be overall quite fine. Generally enemy went for the greedy play with the Aspirant counter. Oh, maybe that's why. Okay, the counters. This is huge. Okay, not the greatest for us. Smart by the enemy, so he's making some bigger creatures. Okay, we definitely attack because we need more cards. Hopefully some kind of removal. Man, double Aspirant is quite hard. Not going to lie.
I'll be taking that now.
And next turn nothing will change, so man, we could Soaring Thought-Thief, but probably Meathook Massacre is just better. Also, he probably keeps up something, so at least we can get some time. They can kill Kaito, but then they don't deal damage to us. Okay, that's actually good. So I played like this because we have second Meathook. Enemy is smart, he knows we can sweep up to 3, and that's a lot of damage. Okay, that's a good land. Okay, so we have options. We don't need to attack right now. We can double block something, so if he attacks with Apparition, we are really happy about it. So I think that's what we do. hopefully he attacks with Apparition, but he might put the counter here, which is also okay because then the Aspirant won't grow. So while he gets a bit more damage, nothing trains, and Aspirant isn't big enough to survive the Meathook Massacre. Okay, smart, smart. Okay, interesting. I wonder what the enemy is having in his hand. If that's like Valorous stance, that's good for us. Perfect. That's actually, I think that's perfect. This gives us HP. We clean the board with the Meathook, and after he plays the Angel, we just Invoke Despair and he scoops. No need to play the Thief because we kill it. And this is very important with the Tapland. If we didn't play Tapland last turn, we wouldn't win this game. Nice. And I think that's it. Like, especially with that Eyetwitch, we just invoke Despair. He needs to sacrifice either Initiate or one Angel. The only problem is if he has some 1-drop or a land and a 2-drop. Okay, that's also pretty good. So we need to go for a bit of a longer game, but Eyetwitch really trades nicely with Elite Spellbinder. And we have quite a lot of HP. So we might even think about not blocking this turn. It might be a mistake, but next turn we have way more stuff. Takenuma. It doesn't seem so bad. Like, I think we are doing it. So he sacrifices Spellbinder. Unless he has something that puts the counter. So that might be risky, but we get 1 HP from the sacrifice. Not sure if he remembers about it. And we might as well attack, right? No reason not to. We cannot block anyway. And enemy is at 10, so not too much. And I could make this play because we have double flying blockers, which is pretty important. Yep. Okay, so now it will be a bit intense. So we definitely want to Kaito, and then we just draw, I think. So we see what we get. That's a decent draw. I prefer the Tapland overall. So we could get rid of the Legion Angel and play the Eyetwitch, which overall seems extremely good idea. Because we gain life and we can trade like extremely well with the Spellbinder. Kaito is protected and we can go back to drawing cards. We also have Hall of the Storm Giants, so it depends what he plays and how he attacks, but we might even kill him. We also can force blocks if he plays the Angel and attacks with everything, but he shouldn't really attack. He has bad trades. Extremely bad trades. So maybe he just goes for Crawling Baron, but that's super slow. And when the Eyetwitch dies, we have a lot of options. Yep, that's smarter. But it's still slow. Asher is actually very good for him because he can block our Hall if he needs to. Yeah, because without it, he would be forced to block with one of the flyers, so it's nearly the same. So our 2 ground units would force 1 flying unit, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so what are we doing now? We have Thought-Thief and Eyetwitch, and he knows about them. So I think we attack with the little guy. He might attack with Barons, that's something we need to keep in mind, definitely. He cannot trade well, and he's at 7 versus Meathook Massacre. I think we +1, but let's actually check. So they trade. We can block this, and Eyetwitch blocks this, I guess. So he can go with 2 damage at most. So we can draw. And if we draw another Meathook, we just pretty much win. I probably keep this in case we don't attack next turn. And we even get the mana for Hall, if we really want. But attacking with it would be a mistake. I think we prefer to have the Thief. Also, if he attacks, we get so many lessons, and we can exile, draw cards, make tokens, mascot exhibition, and most likely just science for 2 extra HP and the land. So I think he's not really happy about attacking into this. And next turn we can force, well, maybe not much more, because he has still the Usher. We can actually even trade with the Legion Angel if he attacks only with it, if we care. Okay. It's weird. He knows exactly what we have and he still plays into it for some reason. Like Usher is definitely a mistake. No reason to attack. You don't get anything from it. You get the token instead of a 2-1. So how do we use it? Probably play this and block. This seems to be the best and most mana efficient as well. Yeah, like maybe we just kill him. Probably not, but we maybe could. Yeah, let's go the safe road. Sure. If we get rid of this angel and activate the Hall, we already won. And enemy has way less HP than he thinks. So mascot exhibition. Not enough. Legion Angel. We won't have enough mana to Noxious Fumes and also activate, so that's not the case. I think it's just science. And what, more science, I guess? I will take the fumes. Okay, that's a good draw. That is a good draw. Can we do it somehow? Hexproof is against enemy creatures. So if we activate it, attack with both, we can just kill it, right? Target creature with mana value 2 or less. Hexproof, ward, whatever, whenever a permanent an opponent controls. So, that's it. We just won, right? And we actually don't need the remover, because if he loses the creature, we gain life. Well, okay, we need the remover. We could also, I guess, get rid of this, but for science. Nice. Skill, pure skill. Okay, so we are going first with very decent draw. I actually really like our draw. Especially with the Soaring Thought-Thief. Even if the enemy plays something, it is still hard for him. I think we want to pressure. Let's see if that's Juari. Okay, that's fine. It would go on the Invoke Despair anyway. So against this deck, maybe go blank is good, but I still think we go for it now. It's card advantage, enemy has only 3 mana. He doesn't have amazing plays on his turn, and it's still 2 for 1. And then we are back to Saw It Coming plan. Yeah, we can do it like this. I don't want to manual tap 2 swamps, because it's pretty obvious that we have counterspell. So basically we are waiting for the enemy to do something. And we are into counterspell war. Okay. Agree. So he has another counterspell, and sure. So that doesn't hurt us nearly at all, because the second one is for Tort. I think that's all that we have. Like, we have 2 Syncopates, if I recall, and 1 Negate. So he doesn't really remove anything, and like, he should know that we have Invoke Despair, so I think this play possibly lost him the game. We will see. It won't be so easy, because it's like control deck. Okay, and he got the card, but still we get to have more cards than him, and he stepped out, which is pretty awesome. We play this land. If we want, we can start pressuring him. Like, especially with counter spells. So we have enough black, I think. Yeah, let's go for some blue. Okay, that's actually important. What do we do? I think we can go for the Thief. There is a high chance that he has some kind of counter spell. And while the Test of Talent wasn't a problem, the second one will definitely be. As long as we have counter spell, we are overall happy about it. Well, that is pretty scary. So we have the Hive. It pressures him into playing Memory Deluge. Also, if we invoke Despair. Okay, so he wants to Deluge. It means that he cannot really counter anything, or he gets one turn, you know, he's one turn behind. Man, I would love to hit the Negate right now. Okay, I don't think we use the Hive. I think it's Invoke Despair. Let's hope we don't hit Deluge. Okay, pretty good. One Emperor down. So, did you draw it? Because if he draws for 7 mana, he cannot counter. And then we pretty much draw more than him. Okay? So, the game is on. I would love to hit Kaito and draw cards. Like, that would be, I think, one of the best draws in this situation. He cannot remove it, then we phase out. So yeah, that would be really good. Let's see what we draw. 3 lands? Alright, alright. Enemy is at 6. It means that we can really easily kill him. Oh man, wrong lands. So that's what I meant, that it might bite us. Like, this deck mainly uses black mana. So, gain life, I guess. Yep. We might actually use Otawara to bounce the Thief. And this is creature, right? So we can even save our own Hive. This means that we don't play the land. So after we tap out, we have what? 3 mana only. Not the most. Not the most. Enemy has 4 open mana. He probably has something like... Oh, Emperor, right. So he has the Emperor. So if we attack with Hive, we lose it. Which sucks. We could bounce it, but then we need to play a land ourselves. This will be hard. This will be hard. Like, Emperor really makes it much harder. I think we bait enemy with the Thief. He plays the Emperor. Then we kill the Emperor and save the Soaring Thought-Thief. Okay, okay. Maybe it's not the Emperor, I guess. But we'll see. He needs to do something. He doesn't really have much life right now. It was the Emperor. And there's no way that we can prevent the Samurai. So first you wait to see what he does. I don't want to give him the life. Yep, it fizzles. And now we can go for display while he's tapped out.
See you later.
He didn't kill the Thought-Thief in any other way. So I will go a bit risky and do it like this while he's tapped out. Okay, so that was exactly our plan. Okay. Good. Kaito, a bit late, but still good. Oh man, I think we do it like this. This is so freaking close. Oh man, we lack mana, but I still think that's the correct play. If he double blocks the Hive, then we go through with 4 damage. So first we Mire, then we exile something, in case he... Oh man, I wanted the reverse, but I suck a bit. So, is there anything... Like, they might have witnessed the future, so I think let's get rid of the Test of Talents. Yep, that's exactly what we didn't want. So it doesn't matter. If enemy kills us, he's at 1. Like if he kills our creatures. What he wants to find? I think Teferi 4, because it gains 2 life. We could probably sneak this 3 damage somehow. And I doubt one of them should be a land, because you wouldn't waste your draw on this. Okay, very smart, very smart. That is a huge problem. Not the best draw, definitely. I want to draw.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
Duress is a good draw. Not the best. Like removal would be the best. We could make a ninja, but I hoped for a card that maybe wins us the game. So he will be at 2 after he sweeps, and Kaito wouldn't die. So that's not great for him. Okay, he wants to really pressure us. No blocks. This will be super close. We need a good draw. This definitely qualifies as a good draw. So we probably win, but let's make sure that we win. Enemy has one card that we don't know about. He cannot activate the creature land, so it's 4 damage. I think we just do it. I think he shouldn't draw a counter spell. Yep, and we did it by 1 HP. Nice. Okay, that's the stuff. That's exactly why we are playing this deck. We just need the third land. As long as we get it, we are extremely happy about this situation. This should be win if we hit the third land. Because if we do this, then we start drawing every turn, and whatever enemy does, we can negate. Oh yes, that's so good. I don't see blue, so I don't play the Thief right now. Let's make it a surprise, shall we? What enemy is playing? Mr. Low 1, 2, 3, 8, 8. He's thinking really hard about this round, and I'm not surprised. Like, he needed to choose the color. Nice. And we can start going crazy. Enemy cannot really do anything, so let's just play everything right now. And we can also start milling him. Milling isn't like big part of the strategy, but it definitely gives some pressure to the enemy to, you know, do something. Iteration might be good here if we get another land. Like, we cannot miss a land drop in this game. And overall, Invoke Despair is a bit worse in this matchup, because when he has like a creature and enchantment, rune, whatever, he can sacrifice them separately because all the effects are done at the same time. Good choice, very good choice. But his board won't get better after this play. Man, I really hope we hit the land, then we can minus to Kaito. Just this one time. A 4th land. I want something here. Because then, like, we minus to Kaito. Like, I guess it qualifies. Oh man, okay. Like, I wasn't exactly specific. As long as we have Negate, I hope we should be fine.
Our eyes are everywhere.
Technically, we didn't miss the land drop, so I guess. Man, I hope he goes for the Scarred and we counter it, and then we should be so fun. Generally, you don't want creature with enchantment. Okay, and now rune that we counter, right? Oh man, that's so freaking good. That's perfect. We just Meathook Massacre and clean the board. Yep. And we keep Kaito even. I think we plus just to get something, and something is the land. So we would sweep for 2. That seems to be the best play right now. It means we cannot counter this turn. A bit unfortunate, so let's get rid of the Syncopate. It is a bit too late. We go for black, then we can Invoke Despair. Enemy is tapped out, so we should be safe. And I will put a stop, so he thinks we might have a march. Because even though it's 1 mana, it forces so much place if he wants to cast a creature and a rune. At this point enemy is in a very hard situation. And after we start casting our Invoke Despair, it will be even worse. And we also start getting back the creature. Because there's high chance he will be forced to sacrifice the circle. Okay, now he sees something. Hopefully, like this stop makes a difference because this deck really hates when you kill the creature where they cast rune on. Because they lose the draw from the rune. And he still does it, but that was something that could help. Okay. If we bounce it, he gets the stuff. If we play Invoke, we kill this, but not much more. This isn't very helpful for tempo for him. I think we -2.
I got someone on the inside who can help.
This gets rid of the rune and puts him behind on tempo. So if he wants to replay the dog, it's like 3 mana at the most that he can do something with, and we have Negate for the enchantment that he wants to play. I want the situation where he doesn't have enchantment on the dog or any other creature. Then if he has one creature, we just kill it, get the circle, which I definitely shouldn't highlight. Perfect, and we just counter the rune. And we get rid of the champion, circle, and we draw card. That's wrong mana, so I assume he has the green rune. Or he messed up. Did you miss? No, he can play the colorless mana. Man, so obvious. Okay, and that's why we had Negate. And we also have this iteration going, and when it comes to become a creature, that will be such an incredible difference. Nice. Perfection. Okay, that's what we wanted. That was the play for this game. So, plant, attack, and now we can start drawing cards. Like with this Inventive Iteration, you can just cast something for 2 mana and the enemy is stuck for his full turn. If you can cast even like Kaito for 3 mana, it blocks all his rune for champions, right? But mostly 1 or 2 mana. Like 2 mana is the deal breaker for the deck. And we have Meathook Massacre, we have another Invoke Despair. We need to cast it smartly, so the enemy cannot... Okay, sure. He can get rid of 1 creature, but that's it. And we don't really care about which creature survives. And from next turn we have Flyer with 3/3. I think we are really closing this game hard right now. Yep. This is why I really like 1 copy of this card. If you can make it work on the first chapter, like man, the value you get later is just amazingly good. And with counterspell we feel much safer. I want the land, so I can cast Despair, even while having land. Counterspell. Man, I need to focus what I'm saying. I'm just focused on winning this. But basically we won't cast Despair and still have counterspell up, obviously.
There's no secret I can't.
I guess Memory Deluge is good as well, and we can use counterspell with it, so let's go with it. And March is amazing as well, because we can decide whether we counter something, so he cannot cast rune on it. And with Dock it's even easier, because we can cast it for 1, we don't need the life gain. So the game is ours, I think. Yep.